Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of the course. This week is all about diversity of family structures and early childhood learners. Before we get started on this week's assignments, I just wanted to commend last week's discussion posts. For the most part, the posts were well written and organized, and I appreciated that people were willing to share their personal experiences as well as references from the course readings and video. I haven't had a chance to look over the assignments yet since they're not due until midnight tonight, but I will try to grade them as soon as possible. I know it's tricky to start a second assignment when you haven't gotten a grade for the first one yet. If you have questions about upcoming assignments, please let me know as soon as possible. This week, the learning outcomes will be to recognize the factors that define the nature of social diversity and their impact on young children and early childhood teachers. You will be identifying the ways that culture shapes our lives and influences the lives of young children, as well as describing the characteristics of family structures and their role in transmission of culture to the young child, which is similar to what we went through in week 1. You will also be identifying the influence of culture on child development and the need for culturally responsive teaching. Additionally, you will analyze the struggle for equality in education and identify the historical perspectives of multiculturalism. Your assignments this week are to read chapters 3 and 4, watch the video posted on Canvas called My Culturally Responsive Classroom, as well as view the resources for our course text for chapter 4. You have a week 2 discussion post, as well as a mass media assignment. And I would encourage you to continue working on the final assignment and let me know if you have questions. So for your second discussion post, your assignment is to explore why you were given your name and answer the following questions. What reasons and motivations do you feel people have for naming a child? In what ways do names reflect family and cultural values? And why is it important to make sure to use and pronounce people's names accurately? I remember completing an assignment like this in elementary school and feeling like I was disappointed when I asked my parents where my name came from. The story's pretty short and simple. My parents were thinking about naming me Catherine, but my great-grandma said that everyone would call me Katie anyway, so they just named me Katie right from the start. And to me, that doesn't seem culturally relevant. But upon thinking about it as an adult, I realized that it was important for them that people call me my given name rather than a nickname. I've had lots of students over the years with names that are difficult to pronounce at first, and I always make it a point to learn how to pronounce their name correctly from the start, which requires asking them to repeat how to pronounce it and having them correct me if I do it incorrectly. Students often feel embarrassed when asked multiple times, but I assure them that I ask multiple times because I want their name to be treated as the important piece of them that it is. This assignment actually reminds me of a book I've read with my class several times. It's called My Name is Maria Isabel. And in this book, it's about a girl that moves to a new school, and the teacher, upon meeting her, says, "We already have 2 Marias. Why don't we just call you Mary instead?" But Maria Isabel knows that she was named after her papa's mother, and she feels that her name is important and loses a lot of connection with her teacher because of it. It's a great short story for students in about the 3rd grade age range if you'd like to check it out. As you're doing your discussion posts, be sure to check out the rubric, and it's found in the same place as it was last week. The guidelines are explained in the introduction video, and make sure that you always have the first post done on Thursday and your 3 thoughtful responses done by Saturday. For your assignment this week, it's about mass media, and you need to watch a television program for young children for an hour during the week and pay attention to the commercials as well. You need to answer the question, what messages are presented about gender, ethnic groups, and individuals with disabilities? You should discuss your findings and propose changes that you believe will decrease stereotyping. So for options for your assignment, you can choose to write a paper, as most of you did for week 1, or you can use a variety of technology. No matter what you choose to do, you'll be graded using the same rubric, and you have to make sure that you include connections to research with citations. And I would encourage you to look over the written assignment guidelines as well. If you start the assignment early enough in the week, you'll have time to use tutoring options if needed, as well as ask me questions as you come to them. So these are the exemplary pieces of the rubric. As I explained last week for the first assignment, I'll explain them again this week. So the first 2 parts of the rubric are connected. They have to do with the thesis of the paper and asks you to identify the competencies and outcomes that you'll be achieving throughout the paper. The difference in the first 2 sections are really just that the first one is that you're proposing changes that would decrease stereotyping, and the second is that you presented the messages about gender, ethnic groups, and individuals with disabilities. Your entire paper will be graded on the level of critical thinking and analysis that you put into it. Be sure to use course resources, and I would also encourage you to use your own research to back up your points and make sure that you explain them. And finally, of course, your research will be graded. You need to have 3 or more sources in order to earn full credit, and your paper should be well written, well organized, and have proper transitions, spelling, and grammar, as well as be in APA format. If you have any questions throughout the week, please let me know.